Oh, hey guys, it's Amy with Crafts by Amy. I'm on a couple minutes early so I can get shared in for the event that I am in. Y'all, it's a good thing I didn't have to come on until now because I went and ran an errand, and when I came home, I was trying to find this drop cloth and I looked all over my craft room. Down and cool off while I watched Teri. So don't do this to me again. I'm sorry if the camera cuts out, but I can't fix that. I don't know why it's doing that because my phone and my computer are both connected to Wi-Fi. And I have really good Wi-Fi at my house, so there's no reason it should be doing that. Anyway, I did find the canvas drop cloth after a while. And I think I'm going to use this end of it. I just need to see how wide I need to cut it, and we'll go from there. And I'm just going to use my regular scissors. Hey Sam. Oh, see, this is why I like using StreamYard. I can see comments. Everybody else that has been in this event today, unless I was on my computer, I couldn't see comments unless I refreshed the page, which got to be annoying. So, I am in an event today. It is in Cindy's Craft Sensations community page. Let me pull up the flyer. But before me was Miss Teri with Teri's Angels Crafting. She actually filled in this morning for somebody that had internet issues, and she was on just now for her time. So, it's National Water Flower Day event. It's in Cindy's Craft Sensations community. Starting us off this morning, these are Eastern times, was Cindy at 9 a.m. Cindy's Craft Sensations. 10 o'clock was Trudy with Make It Personal Countering by Trudy. 11 o'clock was Teri with Teri's Angels Crafting to fill in. At noon was Carla's Bayou Creations. 1 o'clock was Kathy with CC Redesign. 2 o'clock was Teri with Teri's Angels Crafting. I'm filling in. So Kathy went from 1 to 2:30. And then Teri went from 2:30 to 3:30. And I'm going to be on from 3:30 to 5. Yes, okay, I got that right. And then at 5 is Stephanie with Midnight Creations by Stephanie. And the last presenter is at 6, which is Michelle with Pokey's Crafting Place by Michelle. So, it didn't say it on the flyer, but I was reading the description as I was typing it in for the event, and it said it was Crafter's Choice, but I don't think anybody really knew that. I think we all thought it was a flower event, so I did some flower seeds, and I'm pretty sure they're backwards for you guys because I'm going to sublimate them onto this canvas. So when you're sublimating, you have to do it backwards, so you flip the page when you print it. So we're going to see how this works. I've only sublimated on stuff a few times with my printer. It's not a sublimation printer. Hey, Teri. It's just a regular printer. It's an EcoTank printer, though, and I put in sublimation ink. So we're going to see how it works on this. I did use it one other time on the canvas, and it worked pretty good. Hey, Miss Rona. Let me see if I can find my little bag. So when you're working with canvas or any kind of cotton, you can't sublimate directly onto it. You have to use a spray. Hey, Miss Brenda. So this is the spray that I have. It says it's a sublimation spray. It's for cotton fabric coating, polyester coating sprayer. So when you're sublimating, it needs to be on polyester. So that's what that is saying is it's a coating that's going to basically turn the canvas. So I do have my little pouch over here that I did. And it doesn't look the best, but this was literally the first thing I ever sublimated on after a piece of scrap material. So it has my logo. Please Please don't do this today. I am so tired of this. Why is it doing that? Okay. I'm turning off the Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry, you guys, for technical issues, but y'all know how this works. I'm trying to reconnect to my other device. I don't know why it decided that it didn't like being on here, but I am trying to get back in. It did this to me the other day, and it was annoying. Okay, I'm back, you guys. Yes, you can use it on cotton fabric shirts too, because it's used. You can use it to. So basically, the spray makes a layer on whatever cotton material you're using and turns it into polyester in essence. So it's you can put it on cotton shirts, pillowcases, tote bags, polyester fabric, which if you have polyester fabric, you really don't need this spray because you can sublimate directly on polyester. They're showing a canvas like an artist canvas, but this drop cloth is very similar to that. It's just fabric-y. It's not coated is what I'm getting at. And it says other. I don't know what it is, but it says high gloss, all-in-one formula, quick dry, waterproof. So I had a spray that was just like that I used for this. It might have been a different brand, but I gave it to somebody when I went to an event back in August so that she could do that with some prints that I made and gave her on some other fabric that she had. So these are a bunch of seed packet images that I got from Creative Fabrica. So I'm going to cut these all apart. We're going to cut up our fabric. We're going to spray our fabric, and we'll just go from there. So let's just cut all of these apart. I do have some ribbon out to put on there. And this idea came from Teri from Teri's Crafty Ranch, T's Crafty Ranch. She was in an event the other day with me, and we were doing strawberries and bees, and she did little stuffies that were, ooh, that did not work well. We might not be able to use one of these. She did strawberry stuffies, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I have the canvas. I have the sublimation printer, and I hardly ever use it. Like I said, I've only used it a couple of times. Yeah, definitely I'm not going to be able to use one of these printouts because I don't know what happened to the edge. But you'll see in a second. It got all black right there, and it smudged in the center of my pansy. I don't like that. I don't know why it did that. So I'm probably not going to use that one. So it's not going to be an even number. Because I did print out 4 pages with 4 on each of them, so there's going to be 16 of these total. And you want to cut off a lot of the excess when you're doing this. You just really want the image because you have all that white around it. It's not going to damage your fabric or anything, but it's just easier because it's not, this is not like DTF, direct transfer film. It's paper that you put in printer. So I'm probably going to cut off excess on the side too. But I just wanted to get these cut apart first and foremost. And if I really wanted to use this pansy, I probably could, but it's kind of messed up and I'm not sure I want to. So just get that off of there. And I'm going to measure these. I think all of them are like 4 by 4-ish inches. There might be a couple that are bigger than that. Let's see what this one is, because this is one of the bigger ones. So, well, I guess it would be good if I had the ruler the correct way. Yeah, it's about 4 inches by 4 inches. So I think we're going to make our stuffies. I think I'm going to cut out fabric that's 6 inches wide That way I have room to, well, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm trying to think. I'm just going to cut out a strip of this. If I don't, whatever I don't need, I can always come back and use it for something else. So they're 4x4-ish. So if I do, trying to think if I want to do 5.5 or 6. I want to have room to be able to either use these shears, which are like scalloped edges. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, they're scalloped, or my pinking shears to like make the edges of the thing nice and easy. And I'm just gonna, I might sew them together. I haven't decided. I also have some glue over here that is fabric fusion glue. It's activated by heat, and you need heat to use on the sublimation things anyway. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of how much room I want to leave on the edges of all of it. So what do y'all think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Because I want to have at least 1/2 inch on each edge. So that would be 5 inches. And I'd like to give myself a little bit extra. So let's just go to 7. I mean, not 7. Let's go to 6. And yes, I am cutting an entire strip off of this canvas. This is just a drop cloth, a canvas drop cloth, you guys, from Walmart. So I'm trying to keep it straight, but it's probably not going to work. And I'm using my heavy duty scissors. These are Westcott titanium scissors. And they are cutting through all of the layers. I don't even know how many layers it is right now, because I didn't even count before I started cutting. But it's literally just a drop cloth from Walmart. I think it was 9 feet by 12 feet. And I haven't even used that much of it, as y'all could see. I mean, it's still got a lot left. So now we unfold it. So let's see how many layers it was. So it was 2 layers there, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 layers. That's pretty good. Hey, Miss Teresa. So I'm going to cut off the stitched edge because I don't really need that. So I'm going to cut that off on both ends. We're making seed packets, stuffies. That's essentially what these are going to be, guys. These are not my sewing scissors. They're just my everyday craft scissors that I use that are heavy duty. So let's cut. I'm going to try and cut these. I'm going to double them. I don't know how long this thing is. Let's see if we can measure this and see how long it actually is. This thing is 13 inches across, so I'm just going to measure to the 12-inch mark because I just want to see how big it is. That's 2 feet. That is 3 feet. That is 4 feet. And a little over 6 inches. So 4 feet. Wow, this is not working in my head. 4 times 2 is 12. So I can do about 13 of them, I think, because I'm going to do them at 6 inches. And I think that should be good. I mean, we'll have extras because I'm not doing all of the I am not doing all of the printed things. So we're going to have extra printables. But we are doing sublimation today, Miss Teresa. I need to keep lining this up at the edge. And you know what? To make sure I'm getting this correct and not screwing up my cutting lines, I'm going to get out my fabric marker pencil and mark. Actually, I'm going to use my bigger one so that it goes from end to end. Use my 12-inch one that I have. And I'm just lining it up with my line. And this is a water-soluble pencil. So also, I'm probably going to flip the fabric over to, this will probably be the wrong side. I don't really think canvas has a wrong side, though. But we're just going to do it that way. And this is, like I said, it's just canvas from Walmart. It's canvas drop cloth from Walmart. You can get canvas drop cloth at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. They probably even have them at Harbor Freight, although I've never looked because I don't really go to Harbor Freight because mine is not anywhere near me, really. It's kind of out of the way from where I live, and I would just assume not go all the way up there if I don't have to. That's much better. It wasn't working that well. So we are cutting out some canvas to make little stuffies, seed packets. So right now I've cut out 3. And this stuff does shed with all this stuff that's on the edge, but it is what it is. So the first time I was doing this with this pencil, it wasn't really marking it, so I made sure I pressed harder these times so that I could see it. And then I just made a few little marks. That way I knew where I was cutting. So we're at 4 right now. Could just use a friction pen because I do have friction pens. But I also have this. I think it came in a set from something that I bought. Like a sewing set that I got for something. I don't remember what, but... So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I was wrong in my thinking. I think we're probably going to be able to get about 7 or 8 of these. So that's 5, 6, 7, maybe 9. Maybe not. Definitely 8, but maybe 9. And if I was using this on the right side of the fabric, which the right side of the fabric just means if you're using a pattern or a printed fabric, which this is not, the print side would be considered the right side. So if you were sewing like a pillow or a stuffy or something together that you wanted the outside to be on the outside, and you were sewing it and you didn't want edges like I do, you would put together the right side. So the images would go together and you would sew it together like that. Just a little lesson in case you don't know how to sew or don't do anything with sewing and you want to try. But if you're just doing like this way, where you're just gonna sew it around the edges and leave it raw, or if you were just gonna glue this together, you would just put together the wrong sides. I hope that made sense to you guys. So I think this is number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, that's 7. This is 8. Let me see how much is going to be left. Well, we're right on track. So it's just under 6 inches from this part. So we're still going to do it. We're still going to use it. It's just going to be slightly less. And you just sharpen this with a regular pencil sharpener. And I hope I'm seeing all the comments, because like I've been saying, comments have been messed up on Facebook, and I don't know why. They weren't working on computers, and now they're not working on tablets and phones, which is highly annoying. I'm gonna, and then like I said, my phone is not working with StreamYard for some reason. It keeps knocking me off when I'm using my Wi-Fi. So now I'm using my data. I am lucky that I have unlimited data on my phone and that I don't have to use it very often. And yeah, so we are going to use all of those. And so we're only putting the image on one side of it. So we only need to spray one side of it. So I think we're good with that. So when I go to do this one, I'm only going to sew or glue together this side, and then part of this to stuff it. And then I'm going to be able to fill it and then finish sewing or gluing, whatever the case may be. So I am trying to pull this up on here. Okay, I'm not missing any comments. I just looked on Facebook to see. I'm good. So since I don't have, let's see, I've got, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9. So I'm going to go through these and show them to y'all, and I'm going to pick out ones that I really want to do. That one's messed up, so I'm not going to use that one. It's also upside down. So we have a Snapdragon, which is this one. We have a zinnia. We have a begonia. We have the daisy, which I really like the daisy, so I'm definitely pulling that one. This one is freesia. This is hibiscus. I really like the hibiscus, so I'm pulling that one. This is the dahlia. I'm running out of room here, but maybe I'll just move some of these up. There we go. A daffodil. I'm definitely doing daffodil. This is the magnolia, which is my state flower. Louisiana state flower is magnolia. We have the peony. We have the bluebells. Apparently I did 2 different daffodils. I must have put it on there twice. We've got iris, which I think I want to do an iris. We have jasmine, and we have marigold. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see what else I want to pull. I think I'm going to do freesia. And what else? I'm going to let y'all pick which the last one will be. Do y'all like the zinnia or the marigold? So marigold is on the left. This is marigold, and this is zinnia. So y'all let me know which one y'all like more. Magnolia or zinnia? Because I'm going to use one of those on the last one. And I'll save the rest of these. Maybe do another set of these. I do have a dough bowl I can put them in. So y'all let me know. Marigold or zinnia. So I'm just going to come in with these scissors that I said I have, that I just use for everything. They're not sewing scissors or anything. And I'm going to cut off some more excess on the paper, on the ones that I'm definitely using. Okay, Teri says zinnia, which I like the zinnia colors. So I just bought my paper. People have asked me. I bought the paper off of Amazon for my printer. My printer is an Epson EcoTank 2840, I think. And the ink that I use is from Amazon, and the brand is Hippo. The sublimation ink that I bought was Hippo brand. Because I know I follow all kinds of crafters, and I know at least one crafter that used this method where she just converted a regular printer, so a sublimation printer, and that's the brand she used. So, and it seemed to be a good deal when I was buying it, so it didn't seem overly pricey or crazy or anything like that. And I'm glad I can see my comments. I'm so sorry that you couldn't see yours, Teri. I feel so bad that Facebook is doing that right now. It makes it so hard on, first, the crafter that is doing the crafting, But it also hurts the people viewing because the comments are not reloading for us either. Unless you're on a site like this. So I'm on StreamYard. I know Tamara from Crafty Fox Creations, she uses Streamlabs. But if you're using regular Facebook and just going live through that, it doesn't refresh your comments if you're on an iPhone or an iPad or a Samsung phone or any of those things, or a Samsung tablet for that matter, because I have one of those and it doesn't refresh on any of those devices. You have to keep going out and coming back in. And it's highly annoying. And I just wish Facebook would fix it, because before it was the laptops that weren't doing, and now it's the mobile devices. So I'm gonna look to see, this side looks better. I don't know if y'all can see it, but on this side, there's like a stitching right here. So I want that to be on the back. So this is gonna be my front part. Like I said, I am gonna come back in here with those scissors and trim the edges. And I am not sewing them like inside out. I'm just sewing them this way. So I'm not concerned about that right now. I'm just cutting off the little edge pieces. So we're just going to spray these. I'm going to move my pieces that I want to use out of the way so that they don't get any of the spray on them by accident. So you're supposed to let this dry before you use it. So that's why I want to get it sprayed now. And I don't know how much you're supposed to spray it or how far away you're supposed to spray it. I'm just spraying it. And then I'm going to move it away to let it dry. I wish I had my tray, but it has some stuff on it. Let me move the scissors out of the way. And you can dry this with a dryer. Yeah, I agree with that, Bruno. Like, there are so many people that have complained about it in comments on lives. You would think that they would notice it. So I'm just wiping this down so that it doesn't get all over the next one that I do. And actually, I'm going to get my little iron. I'm getting my little iron out, because this one was all flat because it was on the end. This one has a ridge in it. Oh, whatever. It's not going to melt anything. So I'm going to try and iron this piece out in the middle. So while my iron is heating up, I'm just trimming off this little excess fabric pieces right there. And it's sticking all over my pants because I'm wearing leggings. So I'm probably going to have to do that for a number of these. This one has one running this way, and it also has this edge right here that is messed up. So, and we're going to need the iron anyway, so it's not going to hurt to turn it on right now and use it. I'm just glad I can see your comments. I mean, I'm sorry that everybody else can't, because that sucks. Okay, our iron is heated up. Let's just finish with this one. Okay, I'm going to start on this end where it's flipped up on the back. And this is a glass mat, so it's not damaging anything. It's a glass mat, so it's not doing anything other than getting a little bit hot and sweaty. And I am just trying to iron out that little ridge that was happening on those. This one doesn't really have it, but let's just iron it flat just to be on the safe side. And this one does. And this is another one of the ones that I want to make sure I use this side for putting the sublimation thing, because the other side has stitching on the back of it. So it has this big old stitch right here down the middle, and we don't want that. I almost used muslin because I couldn't find this drop cloth. It was hiding under my desk. So hope y'all have been enjoying the event that Cindy and Teri have put on today. If you missed any of the previous crafters, you can go back and watch replays in the group, which is Cindy's Craft Sensations community. That one's still wet a little bit, so we're gonna end up drying them, I can tell. Yes, it's been happening all week, Rona. It's not like it's just today. It's been happening all week. Let me fix that. And yes, the creators can go out and come back in, but when you're crafting as the creator on the live, it's kind of hard to keep going in and out of your comments, especially if you're doing something like this and you need to, it's an extensive process where you need to keep going. Otherwise, you're not going to finish anything. So it takes up a lot of time to do that. So I'm just putting my iron on its heating pad. This, I don't know if y'all can see, it did bubble up my mat right here. Not worried about that. Really not. It's just hot right there. Let's move that over and we'll spray the next one and let it dry, and then we'll dry them as we go. Yep, it really is. I know you want to have a good coating on it. That's why I'm spraying it so much. Because I know you want to have a good coating on it. Otherwise, it's not going to look good. So we'll spray another one. I just sprayed some more on that. Hey, Stephanie, we're spraying some canvas drop cloth so that we can try and sublimate on it. So we have some flower seed packets, printouts, sublimation printouts that we're using today. And we are just spraying our drop cloth right now with this spray. It's a sublimation spray. I know Miss Trudy sublimates. I don't know if she's in here because I did an event a while back and I was doing coasters on it. And the coasters were sublimation coasters. And she was asking me if my iron heated up hot enough because I was having issues with the sublimation. It just turned out I was doing it on the wrong side. I had the wrong side, so it was fine. But yes, my iron does get hot enough to do sublimation. But I don't know if Miss Trudy has ever sublimated on anything where you need to use spray. And I was just wondering. Yes, they do. You didn't know that, Stephanie? Well, now you do. Yeah, they have a bunch of them on Amazon. So let's start drying these. I'm going to put these last three aside for right now. Let's start drying these with our heat tool. Hey, Victoria. How are you? And you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to spray and clean this a little bit. Because that sublimation spray seems a little bit sticky on this mat. And by mat, I mean glass mat, I didn't get it on the silicone one. But it just seems a little sticky, which I understand that because, I mean, it's meant to do that. This one is the first one I did, so it's pretty much dry now. We're going to decorate all of them, sublimate on all of them, and then I will stitch them together. I will do all of that. I'm just making sure it is completely dry. I see spots, so I want to make sure those spots are not wet. It doesn't feel wet in those areas, but you want to make sure. And you want to make sure when you're doing this, yes, you still have to use sublimation ink. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you keep the side that you want to sublimate on by you, so it's not, don't flip it over. So this is the next one I think I did. So yes, I have a sublimation printer, which is just an Epson Eco Tank that I turned into a sublimation printer. So I turned it into a sublimation printer by just buying sublimation ink. I don't know how many of y'all follow Jennifer Maker. I found her on YouTube, and then I found her on Facebook. And she's the one that actually was talking about how you could turn an Eco Tank printer into one. It does void your warranty, because you're not supposed to use that in there. But I would rather spend $150 to $200 on a printer rather than like $500, $600, $700 on a printer. That's just me. If you would like to buy a sublimation printer, be my guest. But that's not how I roll. Well, she is a crafter. So I started following her. She did a lot of Cricut stuff. She does all kinds of stuff though. She's on YouTube and Facebook. Her name is Jennifer Maker. Hey, Miss Cindy, how are you doing? We are doing some seed packets with sublimation. So I don't have sublimation surfaces. I actually do, but not for this. Yeah, I can't imagine paying that kind of money for a sublimation printer. Okay. That one seems dry, so I'm just going to put that on top of that one. Grab the next one. It's okay. You're never late. And we haven't really done that much. All I've done so far is cut out some fabric, which this is a canvas drop cloth for anybody just topping on. And we cut out our little sublimation images. These are the extras that I have because I only did enough with one strip. So we're using some of these. This one is for a marigold. So right now I am drying the sublimation spray. They sell a bunch of different brands, have it on Amazon. My brand is AOSORW. I don't particularly like the spray the bottle that it's in, like the pump part, but you could probably put it in another bottle, quite honestly. And I think I have another spray bottle that's like the mister, and I think I might actually put that in there and just label it. Because I have an extra one. I think I got a pair of them from Amazon, and I've only used one of them. I used it for coffee grunge. I didn't end up liking that. Also, they sell them at Hobby Lobby now in the kitchen section for like, I think like $4. This the Mister ones. I love those. Those are my favorite bottles to use for spraying stuff. So I probably should have done this earlier, but I am on for another, 43 minutes? Yeah. No, 53 minutes. So we have time. That's part of the reason I wasn't cutting them out when Teri was alive. Also, because I needed to cool down. Y'all had seen me like an hour and a half ago. I looked like I was on deathbed. I was so overheated and just, it was bad. With the heat and looking for this drop cloth that I couldn't find because I didn't remember it was underneath my desk. It's good to know where you put things. Oh, thank you, Miss Rona. Yeah, if I'm available, I'm always here to help out. I do this. I love that people do that for my events, and I'm happy to help with other events that are in need. As long as it's afternoon, I don't mind. I'm just not really a morning person. I never have been. My mom used to try and wake me up, and she would turn on the overhead lights, and she would sing this horrible song. And she, I would go back to sleep with overhead lights on, and she'd come in there and yell at me. It is 90 degrees here right now, and I'm sure the humidity outside has got to be high because the humidity in this room right now is 61%. So I would not be surprised if the humidity outside is 85% or worse. That's still it. I knew I liked you for some reason. Yeah, I am not a morning person. So whenever Wendy does events, I definitely try to get later spots in any event that I try to get in. Like for AIC, when they were posting the most recent polls, I was like, she added some extra times because people wanted to go earlier. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be in that event, but I ain't doing that. Yes, I live in Louisiana in the world of high humidity. We live in the South, the deep South, as they say. And yeah, the humidity is like, so in Arizona, they might have 110-degree weather, but their humidity in Arizona is not as high as it is here. So if we have 110-degree weather, it feels like 125 here. It's horrendous. Like, so people that complain about their winter, I'm like, please don't say you want summer. We don't even have winter down here. For real. Like, we've had this year, we had maybe 2 or 3 days at most that were in like the 30s, like mid 30s. That was it. Yeah, that's how I felt earlier. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in reverse order of how we just dried them. This one doesn't feel right. Like I said, my iron is still on. Okay, now it does. I don't know if it's just because I let it sit over there and now it feels wet again. I don't know. That one doesn't feel wet at all. That one shouldn't feel wet because it was the second one, and this one definitely was not wet because we dried that. I empty out the freezer and move it. Okay, so I'm going to bring back our images, and I am going to grab our state flower, which is the magnolia. That's the first one we're going to do. So I have a pile of them. So we're going to do the magnolia first. I am going to put a piece of parchment paper on it. So the reason that you do it so it looks reversed to you guys is because when you flip it over and iron it on here, you don't want it to do that. You want it to be correct when you iron it. So I'm just kind of eyeballing the center, putting my parchment down. I'm flipping it open because I don't want that much layer on it. Hey, Miss Trudy, I was just talking about you a few minutes ago. About that time that I did the sublimation on the coasters and you were asking if my iron got hot enough. So we are sublimating on some canvas drop cloth. Yeah, so last year, I think, my air conditioner broke. I think it was last year. My air conditioner broke, and I lived in our living room for like a week or so till it could get completely fixed because it was 92 degrees in this room, and I don't even remember what the humidity was, but it was high. So I'm doing this because I want to make sure that my image goes onto my surface. And I can see that it's getting darker. So I can tell that it's like, it's either done or it's close to being done. You're supposed to put heat on it for like, I think 2 minutes. And I didn't even start a timer, so I don't even know how long I've been doing it, but I can see the image. So we're gonna try. See how it works. Please have worked. Please have worked. Please have worked. Okay. It worked, but it didn't work enough. And I'm just going to do it without that. Like I said, it could be because I don't have the best spray on this. I didn't put enough spray. I'm not good at this. I've only, like I said, done it a handful of times, but we are going to do them, even if the image doesn't show up very well. It's not horrible. And you can sublimate with this again. I'm not going to, but you could sublimate with that image again. So this is what our first one looks like. So I'm going to set that aside to cool off. And then we're going to go to our next one. I'm lining up the edges. Let's see. Our next one, let's do the hibiscus. No, I want to do the iris. The iris. I really like the iris because of the color. I think it's so pretty. I'm not using that parchment paper. I don't really think it did much to help. And it's not like there's anything on the back of this. It's just paper. Hey, Google, set a timer for 2 minutes.
Got it. 2 minutes. And that's starting now.
Oh, thanks, Rona. I don't know. Maybe the parchment helped be able to move the iron more easily. They are very pretty. I wish the pansy one hadn't been messed up. I think pansy is my flower for my birth month. This would probably be easier if I used my regular iron, but I didn't think about that in advance, and this iron is already here and turned on. I do have a Teflon sheet that I could have used as well. I think my parents had pansies when I was a kid, and I ate them. My parents were not very smart, and they had them on the bottom shelf of this baker's rack thing we had. So I didn't die from it, but, you know. I apparently had done something not that long before, and they had to call poison control on me to find out something. And my mom was like, we cannot keep calling poison control on our kid. They're going to take her away from us. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right with me. I'm pretty sure that's what I ate. I'm pretty sure what they had were pansies. I'm pretty sure they were pansies on that shelf. I know I ate some kind of flower, and I think it was pansies. I was a baby. Like, I was probably like 1 when I did that. I don't remember eating them. Hey, Google, stop. I remember a lot of things about my life. That's not one of them.
Sure. stopping my TV.
Hey Google, stop that timer. Maybe they were African violets. That might have been what it was. It might have been an African violet. So now we have our iris. Put that aside. I think it was, okay, it was probably an African violet then. Let's see what else. I'm trying to do the bright ones. Let's do the bluebells. This has something on it right here. Therefore, I'm going to put that piece of parchment paper back. I don't want whatever that is on my iron. Hey Google, set a timer for 2 minutes.
Sure, 2 minutes. And we're starting now.
Thanks, Rona. Yeah, I think it was an African violet now that you mentioned that. I think it was an African violet. But yeah, I ate some kind of flower. And I had eaten something or done something not that long before that. I don't know. I don't think my parents knew how to properly childproof a house. Even though I have an older sister, you guys. I have a sister that is 3 years older than me. But, quite honestly, between me and my sister, I was the more mischievous kid. And I was also the, I don't want to say sneaky, but I figured things out more than my sister. Because I've learned that my sister had those door handle things that you put on so that little kids can't go in rooms that they're not supposed to be in. And my sister had them on her door so that I wouldn't go in her room. And apparently my sister wanted to get in her room and she couldn't. And I opened the door for her. Also, my parents put a hook thing, like a hook and eye on the top of my closet door so that, like, when I had kids over, they would put things in there that they didn't want us playing with. Or my mom might put something in there on the top shelf that she didn't want me getting to. Well, this girl had a daybed that was made out of iron, and the sides went up. And I learned how to stand on the side and knock the little hook thing out of the eye hook. So I was able to take anything out of that closet anytime I wanted. So that just goes to show you it doesn't work to do that. Now, if my mom had done that in our hallway closet, I wouldn't have been able to get to it because I would have had to move a step stool. Hey, Google, stop timer. I was a bad child. Let's see what the bluebells look like. They don't look the worst. They don't look the best. But they do look. They do look. So let's do our next one. Let's pick out another one. We have zinnias, daisies, daffodils, freesia, jasmine, and hibiscus. Let's do freesia. I think the purple is very pretty. That was the honest guess. Parents. Broomy. Oh my gosh. Y'all, Victoria, we are kindred spirits in that aspect. Hey Google, set a 2-minute timer.
All right, 2 minutes. Starting now.
I'm glad you're liking all of these, Miss Rona. Wait, that sounds like something I would do. And honestly, you know, I did do that. If I couldn't have reached that on my bed, I probably would have thought to use the step ladder that we had in our house or a broom handle. I was a pretty crafty kid. I was a sneaky kid. So I'll tell y'all another story about me being bad when I was a kid. So we went to Disney World when I was in preschool. So I think I was like 4. We went to Disney World when I was like 2, and I don't remember that. But when we went to Disneyland, Disney World, we live close to Florida, Disney World. When I was 4, I do remember that. Well, at some gift store, my mom and dad let me get Tinkerbell fairy dust. And I'm going to tell y'all right now what Tinkerbell fairy dust is. This is what Tinkerbell fairy dust is basically. It is a bunch of glitter. So I was not supposed to be playing with it. My mom put it on the top shelf on her dresser. And she was not home. She was across the street. And it was just me and my sister were home. So my sister was probably doing something that she was supposed to be doing. And I went in my parents' bedroom and climbed up on the dresser. And got the fairy dust out. And instead of being smart and doing it in my bathroom, their bathroom was right next to the dresser. So I went in there on their bath mat and put fairy dust on myself to try and fly. So, yeah. It didn't work. Hey, Google, stop timer. It did not work. I was not able to fly. And then I got in trouble because, you know, the fairy dust was all over the bathroom floor. And me, for that matter. So, yeah. I don't think my sister ever got in trouble like that. So we got Frasier. It's a little lighter than I would like down here, but I think that's just because I didn't press it there that much. Hey, Miss Kathy from CC Redesigns. Let's see what we can do next. We are making some seed packets out of some canvas drop cloth. So we've got zinnias, daisies, jasmine, hibiscus, daffodil. We only have one more left to do after this. I also could spray the other ones. Ooh, girl. That sounds like my mom's aunt. My mom had 4 brothers, and my aunt had, I think she had 6 or 7 kids. Let's do the hibiscus next. I think I might do the daffodil next. That'll be the last one on this set. So there's nothing on the back of this one. Let me line this up. So I did cut out canvas. This is just a canvas drop cloth from Walmart. I sprayed it with sublimation spray, and now we're just sublimating. It's not the best, I will say that. Hey, Google, set a 2-minute timer.
Got it. 2 minutes. And that's starting now.
Yes, my iron is hot enough. I just think that maybe I didn't spray it enough, and or maybe I don't think it's the printer. I think it's probably that I didn't spray it enough. Okay. There's definitely something on here. I'm getting the parchment back out. But yes, I was a horrible little child. I was always getting into things. I climbed in my parents' closet to try and find Christmas presents one year. And I mean climb, like I got up to the top shelf in my dad's closet. I never climbed the, I will show you as soon as I finish ironing this one, Miss Trudy. Yeah, I only have one sister. That's it. But my parents said if I had been born first, they probably would only have one kid, so it's probably a good thing they had a good child first. My sister was way more well-behaved than I was. Although I will say that my sister had a habit of sucking her finger. She didn't suck her thumb. She sucked her index finger. She had a Winnie the Pooh blanket, which she had several of them because 2 of them were at my grandparents' house and 1 or 2 of them were at our house. And she would suck her finger and hold on to the edge of that blanket. I never did that. Yeah, I never did that. I never wanted to do that, apparently. But my sister did that up until like, hey, Google, stop the timer. My sister did that like, sometimes now she'll still do it. It's kind of funny. She stopped with the finger thing. But when I was at her house last week, so I dog sat for them Memorial Day weekend, and my sister and niece came home, and my sister and niece were laying on the sofa. And my sister has a blanket that has a satin edge, and she was like trying to lay down to take a nap. My niece was not exactly letting her do that, but she was rubbing the edge of the thing just like she used to do as a kid. So these are hibiscus seeds. I definitely need to remember to put more heat on the corners because this looks better than the freesia one. And this is the last one that's sprayed. So this is the spray I have, Miss Trudy. It's sublimation spray from AOSORW. Thanks, Miss Trudy. Definitely a hidden. So my mom told me that her brother, she has an older brother who was he was in the Navy. So and this was before, like when he was a little kid. He's very much like my great grandpa on my grandma's side, my mom's mom, my mom's dad. Hey Google, set a timer for 2 minutes.
All right.
She said one year he woke up early for Christmas Day. Or I don't know, woke up in the middle of the night. I don't know what he did. She said he opened all of the presents somehow, wrapped them back up, and had them sorted by person when everybody else came out for Christmas morning. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. She found you out by the dryer line. So obviously I am not as old as some people, but my grandma actually had, my dad's mom, they had a washer and a dryer, but she had a clothesline out in the backyard that she would hang clothes on still. She didn't use she had the washer and the dryer, but she hardly ever used the dryer. Unless it was like raining bad or something, then she probably would. I never peeked into my presents, but I tried to find some in my dad's closet, so definitely was not a great kid. Surprisingly, though, I was the kid. My grandpa on my dad's side had a fig tree, and we used to all climb it, but I was not the person that was going to climb to the top of it. I never climbed high in it. I never broke a limb. I never broke an arm or a leg or anything, and I never had to go to the emergency room until I was an adult. And that first time I had to go to the emergency room was by myself. Well, basically, my grandma had to come over because I didn't want to go by myself and my parents weren't home. But hey, Google, stop my timer. I didn't go to the emergency room for myself until I was 18 years old. My sister, however, she went to the emergency room when she was 3, I think. 2 or 3. I think it might have been before I was born. But 2 or 3. So that's her daffodil one. And all the other ones are pretty much heat done. But let's spray the last few and get these finished. We still got about 27 minutes left. So we're letting those dry. And we're going to spray these. I'm going to put my iron back on its little mat. So yeah, my sister fell off a bar stool. Her and my cousin were climbing on a bar stool at my grandparents' house that was by a bar. And it was a heavy bar stool. And apparently the bar stool fell over and it knocked my sister in the head, and she had to go get stitches at the emergency room. And apparently it was bleeding very badly. And my grandma had to go in there for my sister to get the stitches because my mom and dad were like, I don't want to say almost passing out from the amount of blood, but I have a feeling it was like a stuck pig. I don't know how much a stuck pig bleeds, but I've heard that saying. And I believe that that's how my sister was. So she went to the ER for that and had stitches on her forehead, like up here at the top. Then when I was born, I think I was 2, so my sister was about 5. We were at, I don't know if it was 4th of July or New Year's Eve. We were at my parents' friend's house, and a firework misfired. And I was standing by my mom. I don't know where my sister was, but guess which one of us got hit by the firework? On her hand. Yep. So my sister had to go to the ER for a really bad burn on her hand when she was like 5. Because my mom protected me because I must have been standing really close to her. Also, I was 2 years old, and she was like, I'm not letting this kid get touched by this. So yeah, she ended up with that. And then my sister had a car in high school, and she was determined that she was going to her boyfriend's house, even though it was raining really badly, and her windshield wipers and defroster were not working well. And so my sister did not have her seatbelt on, and my sister went through the windshield of her car. So yeah, that happened. And then my sister got in an accident really bad by her house from somebody running a stop sign. They did not have insurance, and so it got bad. Now there is a red light by that area where the person ran a stop sign. My mom had what was called a twin tub to wash clothes. I can imagine that. My grandparents also, in addition to having the washer and dryer, they had a washing tub that my grandma used to wash me in. Like, I didn't get to go in the regular bathtub. They would stick me in this washing bin in the utility room. I live in Covington, Miss Caffey. I know where you live because Miss Carla told me. I don't know exactly where you live, but I know where you live, basically. You live on the West Bank. No, you live on, is that considered West Bank, Gretna? Gretna and Harvey? I know Marrero and all of that stuff is, because that's where my aunt and uncle live. My dad actually used to work in Gretna. He worked for an oil company that had an office there. And then they moved into Metairie. And then after Katrina, when their office building blew up, they had they were in the office building at Heritage Plaza, which is on the 17th Street Canal. And so it lost all the windows blew out. And so they ended up building an office over here where I live now. But yeah, my dad used to commute from here all the way across the lake and then all the way across the Crescent City connection to go to Gretna. So we are just drying it because you want the sublimation spray to be dry before you put the print on it. I mean, the print might come out better if I used like the muslin or if I had like white material that I was doing it on. But I really like the canvas. I'm just checking to see if it's dry. It feels dry, so we're going to move on to another one. Ooh, that's scary, Rona. At least he had to go outside after that. I'll tell y'all another story about my childhood. I used to like going up in our attic and playing. My mom had like, I don't even know what they were. They were like phonics boxes, like learning how to read. And I always loved playing school, like being a teacher. And so I pulled the stairs down to the attic and went up there. And I'm telling you guys, I think one time I was up there and I fell asleep, and I don't know if it was my mom or my dad or whoever it was like, why is the attic open? And they closed the attic with me up there. And then they wonder why they couldn't find me. And I think I woke up and was like, I was like, help me get out of here. So yeah, I got locked in the attic when I was a kid. I almost got run over by a boat twice. Once when I was little, my dad had a boat when I was a kid. And apparently there's a lake here called Lake Pontchartrain. And so we were out on the lake with my dad's friends. And he's my dad. He was my dad's best friend, but I called him uncle. He was driving the boat. And I did have a life vest on, but I was young because I don't even remember this. So I had to been like 2 or 3. I fell off the boat and I almost got run over by the boat. I don't know how it didn't happen, but I almost got run over by the boat. And then when we moved over here, we lived in a townhouse that had a boat dock where we kept the boat while this house was being built. And we were out. We weren't quite to the lake yet. We were on a river. And we stopped at we were stopping at a little beach. And your girl was sitting on the front of the boat. I had a life vest on. This time my dad was driving. He was going very slowly, but the boat was still moving and I fell off the front of the boat. Luckily, I know how to swim by that point. I had taken swim lessons and I was like 9 years old at that point. So luckily I did not get run over by the boat. I was able to move to the side fast enough that I did not get run over. But after it happened, we went back to the house and I told my mom what happened. And she was like, oh, that's the second time your dad's had, that is all. She said, that's the second time that has almost happened while y'all were on your dad's boat without me. Because she didn't come out on the water with us. So yeah. Apparently my dad was not that great of a lookout person. Hey Google, set a 2-minute timer.
Okay, 2 minutes. Starting now.
So after we get this done, I'm going to see if I'm going to put ribbons on here or what. We're going to cut the edges just to have them. Well, maybe we'll wait and cut the edges after we sew. I might do that. Cut the edges afterwards. But yeah, y'all are learning about all my death-defying tricks I did in life. And how I never ended up in the ER as a kid. But my sister did. Also, one time my sister and I took dancing school. Took dance lessons when we were kids. And when we moved over here to Covington, which is just north of Metairie in New Orleans, we were still in dance class. She was doing a solo in our dance review and she was practicing it out in our backyard. And her knee popped out of place. Luckily, we had an alarm system. We still do, but we had an alarm system. And her friends that were there watching her practice pressed the emergency button on the alarm, thankfully. And 911 showed up, and my sister had to go to the ER to get her knee knee put back in place. That happened when she was in junior high, so she was probably like 12 or 13. She's probably 13, probably. So she had that happen to her. She went through the windshield. A few years later, she got in that accident with the person running the stop sign. And she had to go to the emergency room then. She lost her she lost her 2 front teeth. My sister doesn't have Facebook, Victoria. She has Instagram, but that's... Hey, Google, stop. No, my sister doesn't watch it, but it's funny because I'm friends with her sister-in-laws. I don't know if they even watch. The only person that's kind of related to my sister, there's a lady, I don't know if y'all ever see her in the comments. Her name is Gugu Bertucci. And she is kind of my she's kind of a grandmother to my niece Emmy. So the seeds part did not really come out well, but whatever. So we've got one more. So do we want to do the zinnia or the daisy? Let's do the zinnia. So yeah, no, my sister does not watch my lives. She'd probably kill me. But yeah, she lost her 2 front teeth in that accident. She went through a windshield and had stitches on her face again when she did the other accident. My sister apparently is just prone to like, hey Google, set a 2-minute timer.
Sure, 2 minutes. And we're starting now.
She's just like prone to that stuff. The only time that I've had to go to the ER, I went once when I was 18 because I had kidney stones. I did not know I had kidney stones. I didn't know what the heck was going on. All I knew was I had drank Kool-Aid that was red earlier in the day and I was throwing it up. And I didn't know why. So I went for that. And then when I was in my 20s, late 20s probably, I cut my finger with a really sharp knife and was like passing out. And I fell on top of our dog. Like I almost passed out. So my mom took me to the ER with our neighbor because my dad was not home. That's funny, Victoria. So my mom took me to the ER. I had like 3 stitches in my finger. But I don't like... And they wouldn't... I went back to the back and they brought me and put me in a room. Like just in the back, not in like a actual room. And like I was back there by myself watching television while I waited for the nurse to come in there. And then another time I ended up in the emergency room because I was severely dehydrated and could not stop throwing up. Like, could not. It was that bad. Oh, we have one more. I forgot about that. I was like, wait, I cut out the right amount for these things. So I ended up in the ER for that. For dehydration. So, I mean, I've only gone there for like minor things. My sister has gone there for major things. Hey, Google, stop timer. You know, for falling off, getting stitches, getting burnt, having to have burn stuff on her hand. She had a blister hand for like a long time. Like it happened to her when we were little kids, but she still had that blister on her hand until we moved over here. And we were like, she was like 12 or something when we moved. So that was a good long time that she had that blister scar on her hand. So we do have one. We got one more. So we can do our daisy. Daisy. Do a dollop of daisy. It's funny because sometimes when Goo comes on here, Google thinks I'm talking to her or him or whatever. They, I don't know what their pronouns are. I said hi to her one time and it was like, I don't understand. And I'm like, well, that's because I wasn't talking to you. Yeah, she would never tell my sister. Well, I don't know that she talks to my sister a lot. So I don't think she would actually tell my sister what I'm saying. But even if she did, it's not like it's secret. Hey, Google, set a 2-minute timer. I mean, if you know my sister, you know that stuff. Victoria, I think you jinxed my machine. Because now it's
2 minutes. Starting now.
I was like, it's still thinking. But yeah, my sister does not do... She has a Facebook apparently, but it's only to follow the school that my niece goes to, basically. Her and my brother-in-law. They don't like... She's definitely not following me because I would know if she was. Because I would be able to see it in my followers. And she's not listed in there. But her sister-in-law is, and like I said, Gugu is definitely, because she comes on my live sometimes. She'll go on my friends' lives, which I love. I've had to tell them, like, she's not like a bot. She's a real person. That's just her nickname. And so she has her nickname on her page instead of her real first name. And sometimes her granddaughter will come on there. Like if she's with her. If she's with her grandma, she'll come on there and say hi. Her granddaughter is adorable. I really shouldn't say that because she's not a little kid. I think she's like 11 or 12. I know she's a few years older than Emmy. I just don't know how many. And Emmy is 8, going on like 20. Emmy was here yesterday, and I'm sorry I didn't get to do a live with Emmy, but Emmy was just doing her own thing yesterday, and she was being so well behaved that I wasn't about to like make her go live. I asked her if she wanted to craft, and she told me no, so I've learned not to push. But she made me play. She didn't make me play school. I was sitting in the living room watching TV, and she came in there and grabbed this table and made it into a desk. And she put all her stuff, a bunch of her stuffed animals on the sofa, and we were students. So, hey, Google, stop. So, yeah, I have an 8-year-old niece. She's autistic, and I love her to death. Neither one of my parents has Facebook either. And my mom's always like, oh, I want to watch your lives. And I'm like, you don't have Facebook. So now we get to decide. I don't know why I have this still over here. We don't need that anymore. Now we can decide if we want to put ribbon like around it or how we want to do this. Checking to make sure these are not hot. That one's good. This one's the only one that's still kind of hot because I just did it. I have all kinds of gingham ribbon over here. I don't know what's going to fit, like color-wise or size-wise, because a lot of it is this like 1 inch or 7/8 of an inch, which is kind of thick. I do have some that's thinner, but it's like darker colors or brighter colors like red, which doesn't really work for some of this stuff. So I'm not really sure. I have rickrack I could have gotten out. I don't have any white ribbon over here. I have yellow that I could use with the daffodil, but the daffodil one is more... All of these are more vintagey looking. I'm just going to say that now. They're all like vintagey looking. So we might not use the ribbon. We might just sew these together and yeah, go from there. So I'm going to move this and grab my sewing machine, and I'll be back in just a second because my sewing machine is right here. And I hope I have the tension fixed on it. So I'm going to move my glass mat off of my table because my sewing machine is lighter than that. And it's heavy. Oh, this used to be my grandma's sewing machine. So it's old. I'm sure if y'all looked up this brand, if I told you the brand, you'd be like, I've never heard of that. Which I had never heard of it either, so. But this was hers. And it's mine now. Because none of my neither my sibling nor any of my cousins learned how to sew. Or wanted to learn how to sew, really. Sorry, guys. I'm just plugging it in. Obviously, it was not plugged in because, you know, I wasn't using it. Oh, thanks for having me, Cindy. Okay, I'm back. And I'm going to go down a little bit so I can touch the pedal on the sewing machine. So we're going to sew. Thanks, Rona. I'm going to turn my little light on. We're going to sew. And I'm hoping I have this tension thing fixed because it was bad the last time I did that. It gave me really bad tension. Yeah, the brand on this sewing machine is Nelco. And I had never heard of that. I think that's the brand. It's the one that's got the copyright. And this is just white thread. It doesn't really matter to me. So I'm not sewing exactly where this is, the edge is. I'm going to sew a little bit around it further out. So I think I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch maybe. That way I still have time. I still have space to be able to cut. Words, you guys, they don't work sometimes. Here goes nothing. I don't sew a lot live, and there's a reason. So when you're sewing, when you get to where you need to turn your fabric, you want to make sure you have the needle in the fabric so that it stays in place. So I'm only sewing around 3 of the sides right now. Because I want to be able to stuff it. But I am going to sew some of the top. Actually, that's not far enough up. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I don't sew a ton. So we've got about 3 minutes left. We might actually get finished with one stuffy. I think I'm just going to do a back stitch here. It doesn't like me doing this back stitch. What the heck? Well, the tension is right now because there's no messed up stuff on the back that I can see, except for where I just stitched, and it doesn't want to come out of the sewing machine. I finally get it to where I'm like, oh my god, it's so great. Yeah, it doesn't want to. It's like it's stuck, but I don't know why. It doesn't look like it's stuck underneath there. I'm like, why isn't it moving? Okay. I am going to sew the top, you guys, but this is what it's looking like right now. And I finally fixed the tension so it's not all messed up on the back. Go me! I just need to figure out why the back stitch doesn't want to work. I'm just trimming off the extra pieces of thread on the top and bottom. And I have, so this isn't stuffing really. This is a big old bag of snow that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I've used it for a few things, and I still have a ton of it. And there's a piece of foam in there. I'm not sure what that was from, but there's a piece of foam. So it's just like fluff. I don't know if, but it's called snow at Hobby Lobby at Christmas time. And since their fluff stuff doesn't go on sale in the craft department, in the sewing department, I just bought this because the Christmas stuff does go on sale. So when you're stuffing things, you want to make sure you get the corners well. So I'm going in and going towards my corners, and I got about 1 minute left before Miss Stephanie starts. So I'm just filling this with some fluff, and I'm going to put these in a dough bowl that I have downstairs. And I don't want to overfill it, and I am going to sew the top. So got that. So I'm coming back in here, putting my foot down, and I'm going to sew this closed. Okay, now I know why the sewing backstitch wasn't working, you guys. I didn't have it pressed in all the way. So thank you guys for watching. Let's go watch Miss Stephanie. This is one of my stuffies that I finished just now. And I'm just going to trim the edges with either pinking shears or possibly those other ones that I have. So I will see you guys over in Stephanie's comments. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.